Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Welcome to Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. I am your host, Jeff, and today we have a killer episode. I'm welcoming two gentlemen from the Far East, sorta, not really, but from Scandinavia, as east as you can go in Scandinavia, let's put it that way. I am welcoming...
East from the beast.
What's that?
East from the beast.
East from the beast? Or beast from the east or something like that. Yeah, right. So I got two dudes here that have joined me from Finland, and I'd like to introduce those guys. I've got Mr. Kim Strömsholm. Is that not too bad? I'm trying, okay. And Mr. Markus Makkonen. Did it all right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, went all right. Yeah.
So these guys wrote this book right now, and I have the Decibel edition, obviously. And this book is called Rotting Ways to Misery, The History of Finnish Death Metal. And I got to tell you, man, as I told these guys backstage a minute ago, I hate these guys. These guys have destroyed my bank account and my wallet all in one fell swoop in the last 10 days as I've read this book. And I kid you not, I'm not actually joking about that. That's for real. I don't not hate you, but I hate you for killing my wallet. This book has created a real dilemma for me because I pretty much want to go out and buy every goddamn band that you mentioned in it. And that's not really possible. The good news is I'm not an OG hunter, and most of this stuff has been reissued, thankfully, because otherwise it would cost me a small fortune to grab this stuff. But welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being here very much. I appreciate giving up some of your evening tonight to talk about this book. Now, the book came out actually about 5 years ago, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Did it come out before the pandemic or as the pandemic was happening?
I think more or less about the same time, I believe.
Like March, April, somewhere in that range?
Yeah. I think it was already going on around the time when the book came out. So I think maybe people had time to read, actually. So it did well. Yeah. I know, at least in Finland, and it did well in pre-orders with Khaosgoat. So it might have been even a blessing in sorts, when it came out during the pandemic time.
Did the original version only came out in Finland, or was it in Europe, or?
No. Internationally through. Yeah. Cult Never Dies is a publishing house in UK. Yeah.
Okay.
It was published in London, UK, and it was originally written in English. So we never had a Finnish version of the book. Yeah. We wrote it in English at the first place because I'd say 96% of all the Finnish death metal fans are somewhere else than in Finland. So it didn't make any sense to write the book in Finnish and then have it translated. We rather just went for the English version, and it was great because we got to work with Dale Patterson, and it at least for me, it gave a lot of confidence. If Dale says it's okay, so I have to trust on the fact that it's okay. So that helped me a great deal.
And then again, if we would have done it only in Finnish, the scale of selling is
tiny.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of wanted to, or Dial wanted to go not the hard way, but the big way.
Right.
It's easier to sell when it's in English.
Sure.
And also distributors will have it easier to distribute and sell.
Yeah, they'll pick it up they'll pick it up more if it's in English. Yeah. Quick question about that, and then I want you guys to talk a little bit about yourselves and then how you guys met and decided to, because I think you both were kind of working on an idea separately, and then you kind of joined forces. But before we get to that, I was curious about one thing. I've interviewed several Finnish artists, or Finnish, how you guys say Finnish, I say Finnish, artists, and you guys all pretty much learn English as a second language in Finland most of the time, or?
Well, we start. I think they start teaching England at the 3rd grade at school, and then in a way it's mandatory for us to learn other languages because there are only like 5 million people in the world, less than 5 million, who actually speak Finnish.
Yeah.
And because we are bilingual, like we have also Swedish speakers and Finnish speakers, so we learn English and Swedish at school as a mandatory.
Okay.
So it helps, to build a little bit of a backbone on what you're gonna say in English, or later on learning other languages too. So
yeah, it's kind of weird, and you guys are probably well aware of this, that in America we don't really push a second language because we figure everybody around the world will come to us and speak English. I know that sounds kind of arrogant, but that's a lot of Americans are pretty arrogant, as you know. So, but my point is that it's funny when I interact with a lot of people from different countries, France, Germany, everybody seems to speak English as good, or if not better than I do. Sometimes it feels like, and I just was kind of curious about the dynamic there with schooling and all that kind of stuff. So, Kim, tell me a little bit about yourself as far as your history here with how you. Well, just tell me about yourself and how you got into metal, and I know you've sung in a bunch of different bands. I'll let you talk about that. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I got into metal maybe when I was like 10 or something. We started with it all started with Elvis and ZZ Top, actually, and then I got into harder because of neighbors, 3-4 years older guys who had heard, like Cat, Accept, Wendy Williams, and shit like that. And straight from that to Slayer, Battery, Venom. I think the story is the same with every guy in the metal scene.
You're kind of right. We all, unless, like I'm 10 years older than you guys. Well, 15 with you, Marcus, or 14 or 15. And so I came up in the 70s. So the stuff that I am core with, Rush is my favorite band. I'll die.
Neil
a
Peart.
diehard Rush fanatic. Seen them 56 times in my life. So there you go.
Whoa.
Pretty diehard. Yeah. But, I came to metal through Judas Priest.
Progressive rock.
Yeah, through progressive hard rock. And then, through the new wave of British heavy metal, the Priests, the Maidens, the Venoms, the Motorheads. And you're right. It is kind of almost this sort of, we all have that similar sort of nexus, right? Where we connect on this certain sort of thing. Tell me a little bit about your career though in music that got you to where you're at now, to where you then ended up wanting to write a book about the scene.
I had I think I was 12 or something when I wrote my first fanzine.
Okay.
And the first bands I interviewed was like Blasphemy, Impel Nazarene, Beherit, and so on. And I think I started from there. And then I formed with a couple of guys Festerday, the death metal band. And we made the first demos. I was, I think, 12 or 13.
Oh my God. Wow.
And then we evolved to And Oceans and so forth. But and then I had a big magazine in Finland called Inferno magazine.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that magazine. Yeah.
And I've been involved in these kind of metal things since I was maybe 11, 12.
That's crazy. Did you have an older brother or older sister?
Nope.
Okay. It was just the kids in the neighborhood and stuff like
yeah,
that.
all the neighbors, older guys from the neighborhood, and actually have all the Violent Force, Bathory, Venom original LPs of those guys who were 3 years older than me.
Wow.
And they were like, I'm only listening to Johnny McAlpine, John McAlpine and Yngwie Malmsteen. You can have these LPs if you want. Oh, thank you.
Sure. Let me have those. You still have them? You still have all those? Got a small
Possessed, Manowar, Venom, Bathory, Burzum. Sorry, it's not pronounced Burzum. It's called Burzum.
Burzum, yeah.
And so forth. All the fucking shit from the 80s, 90s, and Striper. Remember?
Hey, man, I like To Hell with the Devil. I'm going to be honest. I saw him on that tour, man. I saw him on that tour. Kim, what's your address? Just, I'm just checking. I want to check up on you and make sure you're good later on. That's a joke. I want to come to your house.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding. Markus, how about I jump you over here into the hot seat and you tell me a little bit about your backstory.
Well, it's already been mentioned. I'm a bit of a younger side. When I started playing in bands, that was around 95. But the funny backstory for the music is pretty much similar as Kim's, because when I was actually a kid, like up to 10 or 11, I didn't think I would be very much into music at all, because my parents listened to quite horrible music, and then Finnish Schlager or whatever, and then
what does
they
that
made
word
me
mean?
play.
What does that word mean, Schlager? Because you use it in the book, and I don't know what that means.
It's like cheaply done. No, it's like cheaply done. In Finnish, the word is iskelmä. It's like something you make a compilation cake. Like some of them was like translated stuff from Willie Nelson, for example, translated into Finnish, and then made really cheaply in cheap studios, and then it had Finnish lyrics, so people who don't speak English can sing along to it, and then stuff like that. My parents
kind of
had
manufactured pop stuff, manufactured pop sort of stuff.
It's not even pop. It's not. I don't know. It's manufactured horse shit, but
it's called Schlager. In Europe, it's called Schlager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Schlager music.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I think in America you use like what the fucking hillbillies are listening to.
Oh, like hillbilly. Okay. Like on my almost like country rock, like hillbilly music. Okay.
But it's like country without any soul, sung in Finnish. If you get the picture. Yeah. But
it's like jazz without a fucking black man.
Okay, well there you go. Right. That would be a little weird.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So then they made me. They thought if I would, be into playing a piano, and they put me on the classical piano lessons, and I hated classical music as well. So around 10, 11, I thought, well, music is probably not for me at all. And then then I heard ZZ Top, which
you two have that ZZ Top connection.
Yeah, it seems so. I didn't know, but now I know. Then that band turned everything around for me in a way, because I thought, wow, there's music actually that sounds good, and then then it came like a persistent hunger, complete all the time. You needed to find something more and more, and then so at some point I was listening to, in the early 90s, I was listening to electronic music and then a punk rock, some Alice Cooper stuff. But from punk rock, it went to thrash metal. And then from thrash metal to death metal. And that's when I already started to be more or less where I am now. And around 95, we started putting our first bands together. Death metal was definitely out of the picture in Finland. It was so unfashionable, and still we, for some reason, wanted to play it. So you didn't make any friends at school by doing it, but that's when we started. But later on, I got involved in writing in, like, there was big magazines in Finland like Miasma and Inferno. So I wrote for Miasma, the other one, and then around 2010 we started to get our albums released with Sadistik Forest. That was my band at the time, and later on I joined Hooded Menace as a bass player and then a live vocalist. So I got more and more involved with the death metal scene here and then abroad. So to cut the long story short, that's more about it as far as I know.
Yeah. Did you two guys know each other prior to this book thing? Had you run into each other in the scene? Like, how'd that all come together then?
We knew about each other, but we weren't friends at that point.
You were or weren't friends? Weren't, okay.
But funny. We both had the same idea about doing a book about Finnish death metal, and then Markus heard about it, that I'm writing a book about this, and he had already started it. So it was like, hey, why not, put them pieces together and shovel it out.
Right. Markus, go ahead.
And Oceans came to play my town in 1998, and I was in the audience at that when so I actually knew Kim from quite a while back, and I used to be and I still am a big fan of those days, and Oceans, we really looked up to those bands at the time because we were a bit younger ourselves. So yeah, I went to see him play some good 30 years ago already, but when we started talking about the book, then we started, getting more, calling each other and changing ideas, and then, but the book.
How'd you get in touch with one another? Who got you together? In other words,
I think it was more like a word to mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just friends of friends.
Kim heard. Yeah. It's a small country, and I think Kim heard from somebody that I was doing the book, and he called me actually.
Oh,
and then this was maybe 2000.
Call me up before you go.
17. And then that's how it started.
Wham there, boys and girls. A little wham there, death metal style there, right? Freestyling. Well, let me ask you this. So you guys aren't in the same city then, obviously, right?
Nope.
No.
How far away from each other are you, like, drive-wise?
5 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Kim, are you up north or which?
I'm down south in the Helsinki area.
You're in Helsinki, and Markus, you're up north, further up north.
I'm quite in the middle. If you put your finger middle of Finland, so that's more or less where I am at.
So if you were to start at the southern tip of Finland and drive to the northern tip, what are we talking, 10, 12 hours?
10 hours maybe, yeah.
10 hours, okay. How many miles is that? Do you know off the top of your head? I'm just curious.
Maybe 1,000 kilometers.
Okay. So it's a good distance then. So these these metal scenes that started cropping up in the late 80s, and we should touch on that. The book really goes into I got to give you guys a lot of credit, man. This is such a well done book because you really preface it by getting into like where the origin story starts with the metal music in the country itself. And I'm sure it's not totally different than Sweden or Norway or even the Americas at this point, but you really kind of fill us in on like where this started. And so there's all kind of bands, like, bands that I had never, ever, ever, ever heard of. Like, I'm just going to throw a couple names at you here. Like the early stuff, which was kind of the sarcophagus and the more the proggy metal bands. I guess you'd almost call them like traditional metal bands, things like of that nature, I guess, right?
Yeah, almost heavy metal.
Yeah, like just like what we would call heavy metal here in the States. Something like Sabotage or maybe like Fifth Angel or that kind of metal in the United States. Were you guys aware of that stuff when you were kids, or did that come to you later? Because I guess that was 1980, so you'd have been pretty young, right?
I actually heard about them when I was a kid, but I was more into the extreme metal things because I've already heard about Venom, Bathory,
Okay.
Running Wild.
Right.
And when I heard Sarcophagus and Pergunt and shit like that from the late 80s,
Right.
it was, these guys are fucking blame.
Okay.
If you,
So
if you compare it to like
compared to what you were already into, yeah.
sold to Satan.
Yeah, yeah. You're seeing guys like Lemmy, and you're like, these guys are kind of poncy. They're kind of yeah. But there's some good stuff there, man. I mean, I found out like you also talk a lot about how that scene, which was kind of, I guess you call it like just traditional heavy metal or heavy metal, then kind of started to transition like it did here in the States. You know, we got the new wave of British heavy metal that kind of influenced a lot of the thrash bands. We got them going. So bands like, of course, the Metallicas, the Slayers, those bands, Megadeths and whatnot. You guys had your own version of that over there. You want to speak a little bit about that, Kim?
Well,
or Markus, go ahead.
One thing that you need to remember in Finland has always been a big hardcore punk country. And then, you know, hardcore punk in 80s was a lot more, you know, extreme music than heavy metal here was. So, so if you were looking for, yeah. So all the guys who were looking for really extreme stuff, they didn't go for heavy metal bands, but they went for, you know, hardcore punk bands. And then Terveet Kädet, Riistetyt, and all that. And then
Chaos and
yes.
So we're talking about bands like, are we talking about bands like you guys mentioned, a lot of these bands that I just had never heard of, you know, things like ARG, Sacred Crucifix. Are these more the thrash bands? The punk bands were like what, Fat Bay?
Yeah, punk bands were they were influencing, you know, it's like when if you start from, I think things started getting more aggressive when thrash metal came on board in Finland. And then those guys and even the early black metal and death metal bands were more influenced by these punk groups in a way, because what I tried to tell in the book is that heavy metal was seen maybe a bit, you know, easygoing in Finland, because we already had that time a lot of really extreme punk bands. So like bands like Fat Bay or Impaled Nazarene, they are really influenced by, you know, the hardcore punk scene rather than heavy metal.
I don't remember. Did you go into? You didn't really go into like the hardcore stuff. You didn't mention.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Is that a different?
I have a friend of mine who has done a book about that.
Okay, so there is another book.
The crossover thing.
Okay, the crossover. Okay.
And in Finland, we have always been, you know, Finnish guys, people are really, how could I say it, like, they're not really open-minded about things, but when the hardcore scene was really hardcore per se, and the gap between hardcore and thrash and crossover, it was kind of the new way British heavy metal was kind of ignored in a way, because of course Iron Maiden, Wasp, Kiss, those were Twisted Sister and so forth. There were big names in Finland.
Sure.
But to some of us, it was kind of a gayish.
Yeah.
So it was easier to lean on things like Venom, Bathory from the thrash scene.
So the less gay stuff, we'll just call it less lame from here.
Yeah.
But I totally get you gotta, you know, you gotta kind of be a little careful.
You know, Judas Priest, all these English bands, they're really big and appreciated in Finland. All the heavy metal guys appreciate them and love them. But myself, I kind of jumped over that shit. And
I see what you're saying. Exactly. Yeah. Because my entry point into what I would call now metal, again, I'm coming from the 70s, so I'm listening to stuff like the first bands, you know, Kim, you talked about having older guys in the neighborhood. I had neighbors that were older boys than me, and they would play pool in their garage, and they would play Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 and 4, and they would play Yes, all the stuff we now call classic rock. Yes, Jethro Tull, King Crimson, you know, that kind of stuff. Queen. When Kiss came along, that was, and Alice Cooper. Like Alice Cooper was my first album. School's Out was the first album I bought when, like the first heavy rock. Like, oh my God, this stuff is. My parents won't like this shit. You know what I mean? But it's now you listen back to that album, I love it, but it's kind of lame. You know what I mean compared to the stuff we listen to now. But so I totally get where you're coming from. Kim, were you heavy into the crossover, the punk stuff pretty heavily?
Sorry, my dog is.
Were you heavy into the punk?
I've always been a thrasher and a hardcore man. I love a lot of New York hardcore bands, even today.
Like stuff like what?
Agnostic Front is one of my favorite bands.
Cro-Mags.
Yeah, that's a good band as well. But
Mad
the thrashy thing,
like yeah.
I've always been a thrasher, more like I don't know how hardcore I am to this thrash thing, but I can show you. If you got we have this. I can show you.
Okay. Oh, wow. I can't read it.
Terror, Wehrmacht, DRI, Violence, Anthrax.
Yeah, you weren't fucking around, were you?
No. And Forbidden. And this is the right, and the left one is with Sodom, Vader, Living Death, Necronomicon.
So Craig Lo Cicero is a very good friend of mine, man. Very good buddy of mine. Craig from Forbidden, good dude, great guy. Yeah. I'm big into that. I like the second wave thrash. I'm not as Slayer just played 20 minutes away from me last night. In fact, with Exodus, it was one of their two big shows they did. I opted to go see Nile and Cryptopsy on Friday night, and I'm like, fuck Slayer. I can live without seeing them. I've seen them twice before. I'm good, you know. So, but I love that stuff too. But so the first part of the book really kind of sets the stage for how we get to death metal in Finland. And the way you guys kind of lay it out, if I'm not incorrect, you guys kind of, and a lot of people in the scene kind of look at Funebray's Cranial Torment maybe as the first real death metal album.
Yeah, Funebre was definitely the first band in Finland that was formed to be a death metal band. And then the others were like thrash metal bands who morphed into something heavier and more extreme. But Funebre, and they like Cranial Torment, if you think when it came out in 1989, and if you listen to, like, for example, Cannibal Corpse demos of the same time, they are still quite trashy in a sense.
Yes, they are, Or Possessed, Seven Churches. I always say, everyone wants to say, this is just my opinion, but everyone wants to say Possessed, Seven Churches is the first death metal album. Yes, Jeff's vocals are death metal, but the music is fucking thrash. To me, it's thrash.
Musically, actually, the thing is that Possessed got the kind of a stamp for that because of the song death metal.
Right.
It sounds like this, but it's nothing like that.
Yeah,
it's not growling, but it's more like, screaming. It's like a prolonged hardcore version.
It kind of is, yeah. What do you think? So, are you guys more in are you more in the camp that Death's Scream Bloody Gore is the first death metal album, or do you think it's something, or is it Necrophagia, or?
I would say maybe actually Necrophagia.
Hold on, we gotta, you guys have a lag, so if one guy's talking, you got to just hold till the other guy finishes. Go ahead, Kim. You go ahead.
I would say maybe Necrophagia was one of those because that was more into the gore stuff.
Yeah.
True brutal death metal.
Right.
Even if Death had this on this Scream Bloody Gore, but the song and the riffs are more thrashy. if you compare to Necrophagia.
I agree. That's one that, you know, a lot of times. What about you, Marcus? What do you think?
Let's go for Some by Napalm Death, and then also maybe a little bit Far Cry, but Deathstrike as well. You know, they both have already a quite extreme, especially Napalm Death. They were really, really extreme, and I like that extreme aspect. That's, I love Scream Bloody Gore, but if you compare it to Scum, you know, Scum is something totally different when it goes to the aggressiveness.
I'm gonna put my hand up as a poser, okay? You guys are gonna hate me and you're gonna want to leave right away, but I'm not a grindcore guy, dude. I've tried so bad. I like Terrorizer. I like Terrorizer a little bit. Kim, you want to leave? Is that it?
No. I have a
okay, go ahead.
Voice of my opinion. I loved Scum and From Enslavement to Obliteration, but I kind of at a young point I started out as more as a grind band, not as a death metal band.
Yeah, I just picked these up yesterday, actually.
And
so
those two are. I have to add one to that: Sore Throat and Electro Hippies and Extreme Noise Terror.
Okay, yeah.
All the fucking Birmingham scene was a really big impact to me.
Okay, yeah.
In doing so, I still love that shit and the scene and the bolt thrower things. And
so, Marcus, you were kind of saying a thought there. You were kind of finishing up a thought there about when you brought up Scum. You brought up another band. I didn't hear what you said.
Deathstrike, the pre-version of Master. So.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yep.
Deathstrike still has like those. The vocals were already like Paul Speckman. They were already Paul Speckman-y, and then and that's I think beyond, you know, the usual thrash metal screaming.
Well, so now, because I was, you know, since I'm not Finnish and I don't know the map very well, I know where Helsinki is, pretty south, but it from what my reading seemed to glean of the book was that Turku was kind of one of the epicenter. Do you feel that was kind of the epicenter where death metal sort of started? And where's that located on the map? That's north, right?
It's it's 1.5 hours with a train from Helsinki.
Helsinki, yeah.
Okay, north. Okay.
Yeah. It's on the west coast. On the west coast, yeah. And the thing that makes Turku like the breeding ground for death metal in Finland is the fact that for decades there has been a ferry connection to Stockholm.
To Sweden.
Yeah. And then when death metal started to happen in Stockholm with Nihilist and Grave and all those bands, Finnish kids would take that ferry and go to see them play from Turku to Stockholm. And they kind of like imported the idea to Finland from Sweden. And then from in here, it kind of morphed into different direction. But, you know, that's why Turku is important.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. Yeah. And actually, the next book I'm starting is this one. I'm sure you know this guy a little bit, right? Or you've spoken to him, So this one's
I met him. Yeah,
this one's gonna set me back a couple grand, I'm sure. So, you know, and actually, I made a mistake in not telling you that. So when this book came out, I didn't know about it. I only found out about the book. I think I saw it like over the COVID period. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I should pick that up. It didn't happen until last June. I had Scott Burns on. I had his book, and I picked up his book, and I'm like, oh, that Finnish death metal book. I got to get that because I thought I knew a little bit about Finnish death metal. I don't know shit. I just realized once I read this, I'm like, I don't know a fucking thing about death metal in Finland, man. And this thing, that's why I'm, you know, it's just such a good book, and it's so readable, but there's a lot of detail. And one of the big problems I had with it, and this is my only problem I have with it, is that as you're reading it, I had to stop and get on the fucking internet to listen to that band. Like I couldn't go forward each chapter. I had to stop and go, all right, I got to check out, you know, Sacred Crucifix. I've never heard of them. Who the fuck's that? And then Moral Decay, I've never heard of them, and ARG, I've never heard of them. You know, it's so Fat Bay. I'm like going through all this stuff, and I'm like, I hate these guys, man. They're gonna cost me so much fucking money now, man. But that was the problem with reading this book, is that there's so much good detail in here about all the really, I would call them the pertinent bands, or the ones that you really need to know about, not the ones that lasted one demo and then disappeared and nobody knows where they're at anymore. And you have some of that in here too, but this made me literally, it took me about 3 weeks to read, because I had to stop and get on YouTube and pull up that demo and this demo. And I was like, motherfucker, man, I thought I knew this stuff. I don't know anything about it. So that's the sign of a really well done book, when you, and then, you know, immediately I'd go right back to it and start reading, you know, and start gathering more info. So to anybody that's watching, if you have an interest in the Finnish death metal scene, this is the only way to go right here, man. This is your guide to destroying your credit and destroying your bank account right here. This is the way it goes. So thank you, Kim. Go ahead.
I don't know about the effect in the States at the moment, but in Finland, the Finnish death metal scene is really fucking big, full of youngsters, you know, 14, 15, 16 years old guys, girls who want to play death metal. And have you ever thought about it in how it's in the States, or are everyone like 25, 35 year old?
No, I think, you know, that's a great point. You make that point in this book very, very much so, that this was very much, these were young kids that were putting some of these albums together, which is, it blows my mind. You don't see that as much here in the States, because I think we have a generation of kids here now that are kind of fucked because of the internet. There's not a lot of, and it's probably there the same way too. But you do look back to like the thrash scene. That thrash scene would be kind of like the death metal scene for you guys, because you had bands like Death Angel. You know, those dudes were fucking 14. I think the drummer,
I think he was 14 when he played the first album.
14,
Ultraviolence.
Gus, and I mean, it's like, oh no, Gus was the guitar player. I can't remember his name, the drummer. The first drummer, it's Will Carroll now, but yeah, that's the only way I could put an analog. That's kind of the same thing, where they were heavy into creating, and they took their shit really seriously. And that's what blew my mind about some of these. You're talking about some of these demos, and we can't get into everything because we'd be here for 4 hours, and I don't think Kim wants to do that, I can tell. So the bottom line is that these are young kids that are being influenced by these things that are coming over from Sweden, things that are coming over from the UK, from the Tampa area. You guys were hearing Cannibal and Obituary and those bands, right? They were making an effect on these kids.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about the Finnish scene, and what I love about it so much, and why I think it's so, if you're a death metal fan, the thing that's so great about it is that virtually every band had a different sound. They had a template, but you could say, quite frankly, that Obituary made like 2 albums that sound different. All the rest sound the same. No offense, I love them. I love Obituary. They're great. But every one of their albums kind of sounds the same.
Because of Morris sound.
Well, it's the Morris sound thing, true. A lot of those bands did sound that way, it's true. But what I meant more was the bands themselves kind of had a similar album to album to album. They had a similar thing, you know what I mean? And whereas in Finland, you could have bands put out 3 or 4 albums in a career, and every album sounds a little bit different. So what do you ascribe that to? Like, what was in the book, you make a very good point to say that, or the artists say, we always were looking to change things up because we didn't want to sound like anybody else. What do you think that was? What was that, Markus?
Well, I think it's just the mindset in the Finnish scene that you like, if a small country like Finland is, and then all the bands knew each other, and then they started thinking, okay, we have abhorrence, so nobody would like to sound like abhorrence anymore because we already have one abhorrence.
Okay.
And then they had, Beherit or Sentenced, and it's kind of like the idea with all the bands was not to sound like the other band, and that's totally vice versa when compared to Sweden, where everybody wanted to sound like the same band.
Yeah.
And then
you got the template band, and then you followed the template. And
yes,
that's going on in death metal now. You guys know that, right? Like the cavernous death metal thing was a thing for 2 years. I'll get you in one sec here, Kim. Every band had to sound like Tomb Mold, or they had to sound like Fetid, or they had to sound, and it's like, fuck, man, how many bands that sound exactly the same can I listen to? You tune out. Kim, your thoughts?
In the early death metal scene in Finland, I think there was a lot of things that were area based. Those from the up north, those from the west, and those from the south.
Okay, yeah.
And they usually wanted to, because you didn't have a budget or any money anyway to go up north for a bigger producer or something. So you laid on that thing that we can do it locally. And that's one of the reasons why Funebre, Abhorrence sounded like Helsinki death metal, and Impaled Nazarene sounded like North death metal, black metal, and so forth, because of maybe of the budget, but we always wanted to keep the kind of area based sound.
Right. So you did, if I may, I think what you might be kind of saying is they didn't have a Scott Burns doing every single album that sort of sounds the same. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or Thomas Skogsberg.
Yeah, because what happened then was when the Tampa scene started to happen, with the exception of like Cynic and Atheist, they're both super good. Paul and Kelly's one of my best bros. They had their own sort of thing going on that was kind of weirdly outside that box, but they were also done by Scott, so that's kind of a strange thing. And then I don't know if you see on my wall back here, that band right there was completely not like the Tampa death metal scene. They were the Tampa prog band, prog metal band. But I think you're probably right in that it was more of a regional thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Suffo. Suffo doesn't sound like the Tampa guys because they stayed in New York, and so did Immolation and Incantation, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Part of that, and then also for some reason, Finnish death metal or extreme metal in general has a tendency to avoid repeating itself. Even like if a band did a really successful album in the 90s, they started thinking, now we need to do something totally different because we don't want to sound even like ourselves anymore. Because
right.
So
like Sentence.
Yeah, exactly. And Sentence was a good example of that, because the progressivity, they wanted to evolve into something, you become a better player as a guitarist or a drummer, a vocalist, and
by pushing yourself.
Yeah.
I think Amorphous did that too until Tommy Utzen came in, and then it kind of got cookie cutter. I love Amorphous. Love them. Probably are they? Do you think they're probably the biggest band from the scene in Finland? Amorphous.
Yeah, definitely at the moment. Yeah. Amorphous. I think at some point, just when Tommy Utzen came along, they kind of like found, a box
formula.
Yeah, where that is. I think those around the time the guys stopped actually working, and they're doing that well. So that's pretty good going for a former death metal band. Most of them.
Those first couple of albums with them, I mean, we're going to talk about them real quick here shortly. But man, I played Karelian today, and I was like, fuck, I love this album, man. I totally forgot how great it is. And I only just got to see them back in October for the first time. Got to hang out with Tommy. He's fucking cool. Cool. Sorry. What a cool guy, man. I like that guy. Opu's really cool too. So talk about tape trading, because I'm going to say something real quick here. Being 50, almost 60, Now, I missed the tape trading thing. I don't even understand how or why I missed it, but I was a little too old, because I'm going to tell you a quick story, real quick, I promise. I was not even a death metal guy. When I heard about Deicide and Death and Obituary, Morbid Angel, I'm like, man, love this music. Fucking hate those vocals. What the hell? What is wrong? Why would anybody do that? Now it's the exact opposite now. But I came into death metal, like understanding it, it clicked for me when Steven Wilson, my buddy Steven Wilson, turned me on to Opeth. And I know everyone loves to shit on Opeth. I don't care. I still love Opeth. I think Mike's fucking genius. I don't care. But that was the band that churned things for me. So because of that, I didn't get into them until Blackwater Park, which means I was well beyond when the tape trading stuff kind of died out, right? But you guys were probably in the thick of it. Kim, you were probably very much in the thick of it. Talk about that, the importance of that to the whole thing, right? The whole scene.
Well, everything was based on tape trading. When we made our first demos with Festerday back in 89, 90, trying to get our, a record label to release our first album or shit. And I maybe got something like 60 letters a week.
Wow.
From Colombia, the States, Germany, Norway, and like Pell Pans.
Yeah.
And trading tapes, flyers, and everything took like a month.
Yeah.
To get it,
It's not like the immediacy of pushing a button on your computer now, where everything is at your fingertips. Like,
First one up with YouTube uploaded.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. I did that. I swear I did that a little bit. Yep.
And those were actually gems that I don't want anyone outside our band to hear this.
Yeah.
If I got the tape from Abigor or Summoning or Beherit, it was like, this is a fucking gem. No one will hear this.
Yeah.
Besides our guys in the band.
Yeah. I remember hearing Voivod for the first time with Dimension Hatros. And I'm like, man, I don't want to tell anybody about this fucking band. This is my little secret.
Yeah.
Why do we do that? Even though we know it, like, because we do want to share it. We do want to connect with other people that are like digging that, but you get proprietary about that stuff. Like, I own it. It's my little secret. I don't want anybody else to know, right? Wonder why we do that. It's such a weird thing, human thing, right? Any thoughts?
Something to do with the whole concept of extreme metal, in a sense. Like, if you get into extreme metal, you don't get in with an idea of, making it big. It's rather like an expression. I think somebody said, if it's art, it is not for everybody.
Yeah.
So, we all, I'm sure we all have those bands that become kind of like a special, that I just want to hold them as my thing.
It's my thing.
And then, yeah. And then, at least for me, it's usually like in the 90s, Finland was not a metal country in the 90s, as funny as it might seem now. And then most of my friends wouldn't even understand, anything of the stuff I used to listen. So it didn't even make sense, to play them. I remember when I tried to, play Broken Hope to my friends at some point, and they just didn't understand what was going on. And it's like, so
it's fucking noise, man. Turn that noise off.
They wouldn't need somebody, to uncode them. It can't code it for them, because they just didn't understand what was going on. So it made no sense, So I just rather listen to those bands by myself, and I'm a bit like the same still today, that I'm not pushing my music to anyone, because I'm kind of like used to the idea that people don't get it anyway.
So I'm actually a bad guy, because I'm up here trying to push all this music on people because I want them to check it out. And it's like Kim's like, oh fuck, not this guy. Don't But no, really, it's like I don't know if you guys are like this. If you're ever out somewhere, not at a show, if you're not at a place where metal people connect, right? You're in a restaurant. I'll never forget. I was in a restaurant a bunch of years ago, and some dude was wearing a Tools of the Trade shirt. I'm like, bro, yeah. And he's like, right on. You got that thing. You and him know about that thing, right? You guys ever have those moments?
I'm more like poser.
He's a hard. You should have warned me, Markus. You should have warned me. He's a hard sell, man. I love it though. It's cool. I gotta win him over. All right, we'll get through a couple more quick questions here, and then we'll we'll do our picks and get you guys out of here because I really cannot thank you enough for doing this. But let me just look over my notes because I'm an old man here.
While you're going through your notes, I have one thing to say about tape trading.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest tape trader dudes were actually Wild Rags from California.
Wild Rags, San Francisco.
Yeah. I think it was Richard C. or something, Richard Campos or something.
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name. He was in San Jose.
Yeah,
good friend of mine has fucking all that stuff, and I imagine Kim, you have a lot of the original demo tapes.
Right? Yeah.
And were a lot of those were they actually? Most of them weren't pro pressed; they were literally like dubbed, right? Dubbed tapes.
Yeah.
Like the dual deck, right? You get the dual deck with the double speed, so you can knock them out. And like you said, Kim, back then you had to put a lot of time into this. This was a labor of love because you were getting these letters from people and they were sending whatever it was, the $6 or the $3 or whatever the hell it was. Or maybe they were just sending you postage or whatever. And you had to dub the tape and write something out because you didn't have a computer screen to type off something on your computer printer.
Handwriting and repost.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What are some of the guys you remember from back in the day, Kim and Markus, if you did this at all? Were you in the tape trading in the later stages of it, or did you miss it too?
It has died. I have some friends from Europe that I met, and then like after mid-90s, and we used to write to each other and record compilation tapes or some albums, and then but it was never in the scale like it used to be in the early 90s. So I'm sure Kim has more to tell about it.
Yeah, my buddy Dennis, he lived out in the San Francisco area. So he was going to Ruthie's when he was like 17, 18, when Ruthie's was happening and all the big shows and Slayer and Metallica and all that stuff. And he would go to Wild Rags and grab all the new tapes that they got in. But he went to an Autopsy show and got the original demo, the first demo from Autopsy. I forget the name of it. Which one is it? I'm blanking out on which is the demo, but Chris sold it to him. Like, at the show, after the show, Chris is out there slinging tapes, which is crazy. Kim, do you remember like any really notable people that you were doing, like I mentioned Chris Reifert, were you in contact with him trading and stuff?
No, actually, I was in contact with a lot of more of these kind of later thrash era guys.
Okay.
Lilker and
right,
of course the guys from Blasphemy and
Sepultura.
No, they were no. I was actually a lot of from Italy and Colombia, Sarcophago.
No, like Mysticum or Mystifier, stuff like that. Mystifier, yeah.
And but I had when I moved from a house to an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I had maybe something like 3,000 letters.
Wow.
And I just threw them everything in the trash.
Did you really?
And that's like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the fuck did I do that?
Yeah. Well,
all
it takes up
all the magazines.
it does
all
take
the
up a lot of
fanzines.
space, right? It does take up a lot of space. You know, if you look around my room here, you can see I got box sets and LPs everywhere, and it's like I'm running out of space, man. If I keep buying shit, I'm just where am I going to go with it? You know, to the ceilings or what? But it is kind of a sickness in that respect. You know what I mean? You gotta sometimes know when it's like. So usually people, my kids are grown. They're 30 and 28, so they're out.
Fuck you.
On. Yeah, I love them, but it gave me a little bit more space. But now it gives me too much room to go buying fucking guitars, and you know I got guitars everywhere. Anyways, a couple bands we should really quickly mention that we're not going to get into deeply here, but bands like Sacred Crucifix. Wow, I was fucking blown away by that. That shit's fucking killer, man. Oh, you're going to show it? Okay. Well, hang on. We'll show stuff in a second. I was just going to name like Lubricant. I didn't know about Lubricant. Check them out. That's fucking groovy shit right there, man. ARG,
Isn't it?
National Napalm Syndicate, Faf Bay, Avols, Stone, thrashy stuff. Maple Cross, never heard of them. It's like, you know, like I said, I'm going to spend a small fortune just on that stuff. And then we get into the death metal. You're talking about stuff like I didn't know about Disgrace. I'd never heard of Disgrace.
That's a really good band.
Oh man, that Great Misery. I'm slamming, man. Kind of thrashy, a little bit on the thrashy side, but still deathy.
And they started out as a thrash metal band, but you know they then evolved into this death metal progressive being.
Yeah. Pertinence was one I didn't know of, and I just grabbed the first album, man. That thing fucking slams, man. It's like, you know, all these great bands. There's another one here that I wrote down called, well, of course, Abhorrence, man. God, that vulgar necrolarity.
Necrolatry.
Necrolatry,
yeah. What a fucking slamming demo that thing is. Oh my god, it's like. That shit right there is like a secret weapon. Like it could blow your fucking brains out from like 100 yards away, man. It's so good. Fear of God, which is another one. There's an American band that was called Fear of God that was a thrash band. Do you guys know that one with Dawn Crosby that was in Detente?
No, I don't listen to bands with shitty names.
It's a cool. It's a great dude. It's a great album though. I'm gonna send it to you through Markus there. But talk real quick about Days of Darkness 91. That looks like an amazing fucking. Were either of you at that? I guess Markus, you might have been too young, right?
I was. Yeah,
one
I was
thing
about
you have to listen to is Coprophilia.
I know the name. I haven't checked it out yet. I will.
It's a really good demo band, and also Wings, which turned out to be an Nokia Crescent later on, but they're 7-inch. I think it's from 92.
Yeah, and who was the guy that was in Wings that then he...
Victor.
Okay, right.
Check it out. It's on YouTube and so on. So it's really one of the best 7 EPs ever done in Finland. Actually, really good.
Wings. I'll definitely check that out.
And it's not the Wings from UK.
No, I know. It's not the Paul McCartney in Wings.
Yeah.
No happy shit there, I'm sure. Kim, did you go to the Day of Darkness thing in 91 or no?
Yep.
You were there?
Yep.
And where was that? Was that in Helsinki or where was that?
Oulu. Up north in Oulu.
Okay. Well, how big of a thing was that? Like, was there a couple hundred people or 1,000 people, or like how big was it?
Maybe 50.
50 people?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a story about that.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Impel Nazarene, was playing with a lot of smoke, and a friend of mine from the guitar player from Bloodhammer, he had been drinking a lot before the gig, and he went in front of the stage, and Mika, the vocalist of Impel Nazarene, came in with a really big inverted cross.
Oh man.
And slipped and stood up and said, "What the fuck is this?" And Bloodhammer guitar player had just puked on the stage.
Oh no. Oh man. And he slipped in the puke.
Yeah.
With the upside down cross, no less. Yeah. Satan was probably getting him back or something, man. that's a band right there. Impaled is the one band that is like a really huge Finnish band, right? But they're kind of a mix of black and death, more black than death, and a lot of punk yet. And
yes,
and
a lot of punk.
That's the one I got to be honest with you. I have to walk into gently. I think I just gently kind of get into that because I'm not the biggest punk guy, and again, that's because of my age. Although a lot of the punk guys are kind of my age now. They're pushing the U.S. punk guys are pushing their late 50s. And I find I'm getting into more punk now. But when I was back then, I was like, this is fucking noise. This is garbage. Kind of like I thought about death metal. And now, probably 50-60% of my collection is death metal, black metal. You did not go into bands like Beharit, Impaled much. You reference the brothers and you talk about Impaled through a lot of other people talking about them and that kind of stuff. Khaosgoat, Behex, and Moon Sorrow, which, by the way, I just got this in. Where the fuck did I go with it? Is that it? I just got this in a couple weeks ago. Man, I didn't really know about these guys until about a couple months ago. I'm like, fucking hey, dude, this shit is really good. My question is, are you guys thinking about doing a part 2 on the black metal scene of Finland?
I think black metal book is done already. So
Styles? This one?
Nah, we have nothing.
Okay, hang on. That's what I'm asking. Do you guys know? Is somebody else doing a black metal Finnish black metal book, or are you guys working on something?
There was no, because there was one book came out maybe 5 years ago, which was the
Devil's Cradle.
Devil's Cradle, which it has everything that is needed about Finnish black metal, and also the Gehenna documentary.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's a need to do any black metal book.
Okay.
At this point.
Who wrote the black metal book?
Finnish death metal. There's a point to doing because the scene is much bigger.
There's more to talk about.
Yeah.
So you guys working on a part 2? Is that what you're saying, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There's gonna be a part 2 at some point, definitely.
You guys just want to fuck me out of more money again. Thank you. I appreciate that. I had a question about the book itself. It is sold out through Decibel right now. It's sold out.
Yeah.
Did I read this correctly? That Cult Never Dies is somebody's reprinting it, and there's a pre-order, or what? What's the story there?
Yeah, Cult Never Dies is doing a reprint of the original version, and then it's been constantly asked about, and then it's been out of it's never been totally out of print. At some point you still had the Decibel version. So I think Cult Never Dies wanted to wait out until the Decibel version is sold out.
Okay.
And now they're gonna reprint the original again.
So I would imagine at some point Decibel will then want to reprint again at some point. Then probably, yeah.
It's hard to say. But I know the original version is coming reprint. There's going to be a reprint of it at some point soon enough, I think.
All right, last question here, and then we'll do our show and tell quickly. You guys kind of, if I'm reading it correctly here, you kind of bookend the golden age, if there is, of Finnish death metal. Like the impetus, the golden age of it was kind of 89 to 94.
Yeah,
more or less. Yeah.
What?
Maybe 93 was the
late 93. Yeah. What? And you mentioned this many times about the Finnish death scene sort of disappearing.
Yeah, because of the grunge scene from the States.
Okay, so grunge kind of killed that, like it killed the metal scene over here too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that part of the reasons I wanted to do the book is I needed some answers for myself, because when I started my first death metal band in 1995, it was totally out of the picture, the music.
Yeah.
And then I kind of wanted to know why, because just like a year and a half earlier on, there were,
it was exploding.
a huge pile of great music, great death metal coming from Finland. And around the time when I started playing it, there was nothing. So that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to do the book is to figure it out what happened between 1989 and say 1994. And then, well, one thing, for example, was the desire to evolve, and then in a way, the original bands evolved. Either they quit or they evolved into something else, and then that made the death metal thing disappear in Finland, more or less. And then, of course, also globally, death metal was maybe seen a bit of yesterday's news around 1995. So,
but the good news is it's kind of resurging. I mean, the last
definitely
5 to 10 years here in the States, you see way more bands. You see way more, you see things like Maryland Death Fest, which is, probably in the States, it's the biggest metal fest for this kind of music. And I've been the last 2 years, and it's been fucking awesome, man. I mean, where else am I going to see Mortuary Drape or Sin Mara or some of these bands that I would never get to see anywhere? Yeah, right, exactly. Or any of these. I mean, there's so many bands that I got to see. Shit from your guys' neck of the woods. Shape of Despair, man, fucking amazing. They were so killer, man. I love Funeral Doom. So that was like, that was my day. I got to see Dusk, Evokin, Mournful Congregation, and Shape of Despair. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like,
whoa,
fuck yeah, I can die now, man. I'm good.
But then again, Dark Descent records from States,
Matt,
they are a good link to upbringing of the new age of death metal.
Absolutely, Matt's great.
Yeah, that's true.
There's some other good labels here in the States too that are like $20 Spin is putting out some pretty decent stuff. So it's not dead. I think it's more alive than it's ever been at this point in time, really.
This is also why we wanted to. Kim just called me not too long ago that we really need to do the second book because like in Finland because we have at the moment we have guys who are like 16, like Malformed, and then really young guys who are playing and getting into death metal like just like 30 years ago. And then there are bands that were somewhere oddly in between going on around after Millennium. And then there's a lot of interesting stuff to be to write about. So we really need to do that part 2 at some point, and then bring all those bands in between 2 covers, just like we did with the first book.
Man, I'll be in line for that one. Markus, you sent me a list of bands that we should just touch on real quick. So from the early scene, we kind of talked about Funeral. They might be the very first, what you guys kind of feel collectively is the first, first death metal band. That Cranial Torment, man, holy fuck. That thing is like so thick you could spread it on a piece of butter like jam and eat it, man. It's so thick and juicy and nasty sounding, man. I mean, just that the recording itself is just it's horrid in a good way, right? Anything to say about those guys?
I think we already mentioned that, but yeah, Funebre was the first death metal band of Finland for sure, and then also they were quite early on globally. So with that suffocating kind of a sound that became the trademark for death metal. So they were doing that already like 1989. So they were really, really doing it.
We didn't get into Xysma, but I'm guessing somebody's going to show Xysma, right? I would imagine. I would think. No?
Yeah. Well, Xysma was the first death metal band in Finland to release an album with So
like a full LP, not a demo.
Yeah. Man, it was funny thing. They had already progressed from the more gory beginnings to a bit more death and rolly thing. But it was a funny thing.
I'm gonna get the poser card from Kim here. I know it. Man, that first demo is rough for me to get through. It's like it's just straight up grind into the ground. See, Kim's already like, I'm gonna smack this American dude around.
Xysma is actually really, really good. I like them. Even the rock and roll era
I just got this. It just came yesterday.
That's a good one.
I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna get it, man. It's got great reviews, and I love bands that don't sit and do the same thing over and over and over.
Same here.
This is the band, right? To think that this band actually, like when I listen to it sounds kind of like a stoner metal band in a lot of ways. There's like stoner stuff going on, right? It's deathy with the vocals, but the riffs are groovy. They're almost like you can almost like grind to them.
They kind of have this kind of similarity with Caius.
Yeah.
Deep, fucking long riffs.
That desert vibe, that Southern California thing. Yeah. And when I first listened to them a long time ago, I was like, but I was checking them out again. I'm like, all right, I gotta put some more time into this band. And I saw that vinyl for $19 on Amazon. I'm like, I'm grabbing it. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So we talked about Amorphous being probably the biggest band. We didn't really talk about Sentence. We're going to in a second here because I'm going to show it. If I'm sure you guys probably are going to show it. Second biggest band?
Yeah, I think Sentence were, the second biggest band in Finland. In a way, they made it to major label, and then even though they went for, gothic rock metal later on, a bit like many of bands from the original scene, they kind of like evolved.
Right.
But Sentence, they're also like, if you listen to North from Here, for example, their second album or the first album, Shadows of the Past,
Love it.
Yeah, they are amazing. And then you have to think that guys were like 18 years old when they did the second album.
It's fucked up. It's fucking insane, man. What's really insane about that is I'm a good guitar player. I'm honestly a pretty good guitar player.
Prove it.
Well, I could. I will. I'll send you my demo, sir, with an envelope and a stamped licked stamp there. But no, I think I'm a pretty good guitar player. I'm listening to some of these riffs these kids are coming up with. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? What was possessing them to write these complex riffs that aren't necessarily like Dream Theater, which I like that kind of stuff because I'm a guitar nerd. But they're kind of like Dream Theater, but they're more aggressive and angular and weird and Voivodian at times. It's crazy. And they were kids,
It's in the air, man.
I'm sorry?
It's in the Finnish air, man.
You think that's what it is? I was thinking it's just all the beer you guys drink. That's what I was thinking what it was. Because that's a common theme with all these bands. The kids are getting good on their instruments, but they're getting fucked up. I'm trying to figure out how that is. I drink beer and I get really bad on the guitar, so I'm not sure how that worked out. They write these amazing songs. We're going to talk about Demigod, of course, I'm sure, and Demolich here in a sec. I saw a really cool quote in there that you wrote, and I think it might have been from somebody in Sentence that said they were embedded with pressures to constantly evolve and change. And that kind of explains the nature of the Finnish scene versus maybe the Tampa scene or if you listen to every Suffo album, it kind of is fairly similar. Same with Incant. I love Incantation, but you kind of got a sort of template album to album sometimes.
But if you think about let's take an example like Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
They have made one album.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. I'd say two because
because the vocalist was changed
because of the bleeding, I think but you're right, they've made and Obituary, we said the same thing. Kind of made Yep, that's pretty much it, man. They're good at it though.
Album, you don't need anymore.
They're fucking good at it though. They're the most biggest death metal band in the world, So Demolich is not the last. Is it the last band? No, Thorgothen's the last band in the book. Which I don't want to get into them. That's a different thing, I think. But Demolich, I'll never forget the first time I heard Nespith or Nespith. How do you say it? Nespith? Nespith?
Nespith. I don't know, the Nespith maybe. But the thing with Demolich, even though they have released only one album, but what makes them really special is that still today nobody sounds like that album. And it's been good 30 years.
Yeah.
And I actually saw Demolich play last night.
How were they?
And That's my happy place, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
when you get kind of like locked into that Voivodian
Yeah.
nightmare scene of Demiurge's music. It's kind of like I forget about everything else, and then just I'm just standing there, smiling like an idiot, and then enjoying myself to the boot. They are just there's only one Demiurge in the world, and then
The
I
riffs
love
are
them for the fact.
the riffs are hypnotic.
Yeah,
They're fucking so weird from a
and so
guitar standpoint.
groovy.
And
Yeah,
groovy. Yeah.
yeah.
Auntie's the one guy I would love to interview. I would love to have him on my show. I don't
He's
know.
the nicest guy. He's the nicest guy
He
ever.
seems
Yeah,
cool as hell. Yeah.
yeah.
Was Lassa there? Did he go to this thing? Oh,
No.
okay. It's
No,
not
just
near him. Okay.
mm.
We're going to talk about that band in a minute, even though you don't mention them in the book, because they're a little bit more on the Death Doom side. I think that's
And
all the
then
ones.
came on a bit later.
Yeah, that's all the bands that you brought up. Oh, I did want to ask you this. You got a lot of help from interviews with pivotal players in the scene for this. Obviously, you know, were both of you guys doing these interviews? Were you doing by phone? Were you doing it in person? All those ways?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite person to talk to and why?
Markus.
From this Markus?
Yeah.
I kind of get that because Markus and I have had these back and forth exchanges with like 5-minute voicemails that go on and on and on. He's a great guy. There's no question about that. But what rock star guy in the death metal scene would you say was your favorite guy to talk to?
Well, I have three.
Okay, go ahead. Rip them out.
First, of course, Antti Puuman from Demolish is like he's. I know. I dare to say we are friends, and then he's like I said, he's the nicest guy on the planet. Just like sometimes you think it's like he's too nice to be a human.
Yeah.
And then I have a huge admiration for his being so humble and still capable of writing all that music and performing it and singing the way he does. Nobody else thinks like that.
Yeah. I was gonna say real quick. I started to say when I first heard Nesbeth, I'm like, there's no fucking way that has to be a pitch shifted voice. There's no way. And then I was like, it sounds like a fucking bullfrog. You know?
Yeah. He has his own method. I don't know what it is, but
crazy.
I'm sure it's working. I also like to think it was really cool to talk to. I think the guy who gave me most, you know, like cheer up and support was Sami Lopakka from Sentence.
Okay.
Because he's an author himself, so he understands what it takes to write a book.
Mm.
And then and then there's some really nice surprises. Like I did email interview with Chris Reifert about his contacts with Finnish scene, and Chris Reifert is a very intellect and
Chris is one of the coolest guys you'll ever. Have you met him in person yet?
No.
He is so fucking cool, man.
And he seemed to know, his knowledge of music is so in depth, so that, it really like was an eye-opening experience. Even just to talk via emails. But
you got to meet him. You got to meet him, man, because he's one of those guys you just aspire to just kind of be around. When last December, Denver Decibel Fest, they do Decibel Fest in Philly's the big one, but they started doing it in Decibel or out in Denver now. So I flew out because I was actually heading to the West Coast to hit some shows with friends, and I did the 2-day fest. And Autopsy was Yob was the headliner the one night. I love Yob. And then Autopsy was the headliner the next night. But Chris's shoulder was fucked up. He had to have shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
So he was on the mic. Dude, he should always be on the mic, but he can't because he's such a crazy-ass drummer. He's got to be back there. He was the best front man I've ever seen, hands down, in my life. He was fucking stalking the stage and just, giving you this thing, it was fucking insane, man. He's the best. So he's been on the show. We've had lengthy interviews. He loves psychedelic music. He's big into the psychedelic scene. So how about you, Kim? What you got? Any couple guys you want to mention?
No, not really, because most of the black metal and death metal scene people are pretty much my friends from
Peers, yeah.
the early years before they were bands.
Right.
So I don't actually. I think they're good guys in many different ways. So I don't know. I don't have to pinpoint anyone. He's better than me. No.
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't mean that. I just meant like, was there a guy you connected with, maybe that you didn't know, that you were like, oh, this guy's cool as fuck. This guy, I didn't know this guy was going to be this cool.
Maybe the vocalist of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were kind of neighbors 20 years ago, and
was that Ville Vallejo or what's
Vallejo, yeah,
Villa. Yeah,
and we were drinking a lot of together, and well, he was
cool
a
guy.
fucking down to earth guy. Even if he was in a big band, famous globally, and he was like always like a, hey man, let's go down, let's grab a beer.
No ego attitude.
No ego. No.
Yeah. You know who I met just recently last year that I love this band, and they're not mentioned in the book probably because they're more death doom, but Juha from Swallow the Sun.
Yeah, I know him.
That guy's cool as fuck, man. Funny fucker, man.
I know him personally really good, and the vocalist Mikko is a really good friend of mine.
Mikko's great.
He was doing the My Dying Bride vocalist for Aaron.
He is, yeah.
And we actually talked about My Dying Bride things a week ago.
Oh, were you?
And,
yeah, that's a weird situation.
Great job.
Yeah, I did. I saw him. I saw some video. That's a tough situation to jump into, man. It's very tough. So, all right, quickly here, we're gonna run through this. Top 5 under the radar Finnish bands that everyone should check out. I'll give you my 5. I didn't know anything about I'm a big Hooded Menace guy, and I didn't know anything about Lasse's. How do you say it? Phlegethon. Holy fuck, that shit's awesome.
Yeah.
It's also very expensive to find. God damn it. I can't find it anywhere on CD or anything. So I'll have to look around for that. Also, Pertinence. That was a big eye opener for me. I was like, what's the first album called with the skeleton? Misery?
I think the first.
The album. The first album.
It was not.
Yeah, I forget the name of it.
It was Pertinence Avulsion.
Yeah. Well, no, that was the demo, right?
Yeah, they were called Pertinence Avulsion in the beginning. Yeah.
I'll look it up here in a sec. I'll run through the other ones here. Depravity.
Member of Immortal Damnation or something was the first full length.
Okay. Adramelic.
Yeah.
Man, very demigodish, because one guy I think that's in Demigod's in that band, right? Or was?
Yeah.
Fucking cool as shit. Morbicus. I didn't know anything about Morbicus, man.
Fucking good.
God, what's the first album? Left Dances from the Left?
Dances from the Left, yeah.
Dude, that fucking album rules. I gotta go find that one now. And then you're gonna
find out the first one they never released, a full-length album, which is more like Susma, Disgrace, Abhorrence kind of shit.
But you can't.
Their demos are amazing. You need to check them from, like, for example, from YouTube. But Mordicus sounded completely different before they actually released an album. So.
Yeah, they're another band that really evolved and changed as they went along a lot. Yeah. I'm gonna leave my last one because I'm gonna show it as one of my things because it's probably my favorite fucking thing from Finland. So you guys got 5 quickies for ones that people should check out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want to show yours or?
Well, yeah, we can do that real quick. Hang on.
You want to show me mine? Okay.
Yeah, I'll show mine real quick and we'll go from there. So I got to show this because, this fucking album rules. Man, I love Tommy Kuvasari's voice on this. Kind of wish he would have stayed. It's not my favorite album by them, though, oddly. You might boo and hiss at this one, but I really love Elegy. Elegy is my favorite because I'm very proggy. I like the prog shit. But this is probably my favorite. This album is just so fucking good, man. And it's progressive where Abhorrence wasn't really, but man, great album there. Of course, you mentioned it, Markus. Sentence.
Yeah.
Man, god damn, this album is so fucking good, man. The vocals are just beyond sick on here, and the riffs. And these are long songs. This is a long album. It's like 52 minutes.
Yeah. And the leads are amazing on that record.
Yeah, Tanella, was that his name? The guitarist? Yeah.
Tenkula, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What a fucking amazing guitar player. I gotta bring this band up, even though you guys don't talk about them in here. And you're not on this, right, Markus?
Yeah, I used to play those songs live, and then I played on a Darkness Strip's 4th album.
Right, and I love that album too, but man, the opening riff to Never Cross the Dead, get out of here, man. Get the fuck out. How does Lassie even come up with that shit? I'm like, what the fuck? All right, I got two more quick. You didn't mention this one either. I was kind of surprised this wasn't brought up in the book. Maybe that's part 2.
It's coming on later on. You will notice later on.
Okay, part 2. The drop A guys right here. Ripakalu. Let's see. Can I pronounce that? Musta Ceremonia. This shit is fucking dank as all hell right there. And I swear this might be my favorite thing out of Finland, guys. You might think I'm crazy, but I love this thing.
Depravity.
That's a really good one.
Man, what a banger of an EP. I wish it was a full album. All right, that's my 5 that everyone should own in here. Markus, what do you got? We'll let Kim finish up and we'll get out of here then.
All right. First of all, I think the band that really doesn't get talked about too much is Unholy.
I had that in mind too, in my CDs. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, they never released anything bad. And then their first is really more on the avant-gardist side of death metal. Might not be for everyone, but that sure is art. And then also they were a bit more on the satanic side, which was rare in Finnish scene at the time. But if you're into, for example, like Celtic Frost or stuff like that, you should really check out the Unholy stuff.
That's got a vibe. That one's got a vibe of Into the Pandemonium because it's kind of weird like that. You know what I mean? And those screams are like, what the fuck? You know
and
what I
the
mean?
low vocals too are just amazing.
Yes, they are. Hold on, what happened?
I'm screening.
Yeah, I gotta hang on. I gotta disable it for a minute. How do I disable that? Shit. How did I do that? Yeah, I gotta take that off for a minute. There we go. We'll come back to you in a minute, Kim. Go ahead, Markus.
Okay. Then from a bit later, stuff from a bit later on, but guys from Kuopio, Lantern.
Oh, I don't know that. They were at the festival just that.
Yeah, and you probably like this album because it's quite proggy, in a good way. It's not weird in a sense of being proggy meaning just let's be chaotic. But like this wanky, is actually very
too much wank.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. This is very well written, atmospheric and violent at the same time. You should try it out. And then actually something from this year, from the latest, Proscription.
Oh yeah,
this album.
I don't know that, but I've heard. Yeah.
That album is a monster. So if you want to get something like get your head beaten in a pulp in a nice way, this is your free ticket to it. Not free. It's gonna cost you.
Killer album. I gotta check that one out for sure. Yeah.
And then the last one, because you mentioned Hooded Menace, I'm a huge fan of Vacant Coffin. The band where Lasse and Pekka used to play before Hooded Menace, and then this record is just
was that after
amazing.
Was that after Phlegathon?
Yeah.
And are they still ongoing? Are they still an ongoing band?
No.
No.
They only did this one album. And
Vacant Coffin.
is,
I'm gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, you should check it out.
I love the artwork.
Great.
The artwork already sold me right away, right?
But yeah, that would be my underground or like some things to pick out.
All right, Kim, what you got, man?
I can share something.
Okay. Yeah, share it again, and I'll. There we go.
What the fuck?
No, it's saying unable to screen share. Why is it saying that? I had it up before. What? Try it again. Like go out of it and then go back in. Like kill the thing and then go try to share again. Oh wait, there it is. All right. Can't really blow it up. So what's this?
Black Crucifixion.
Oh no, I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm only seeing an email.
Okay.
I'm seeing the email that I sent to Markus with the link, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So if you pull it down, well, I'll tell you what. I'm in Metallum. If you want to tell me what to bring up, I can bring it up.
Bring up something like Black Crucifixion, the fallen one of flames.
Black Crucifixion. Should have. All right, let me see. Crucifixion. Here we go. It's not coming up on. Let me try it on. There it is. I got it. There we go. It had an X in it. That's why. Faustian Dream.
No,
Hope of Retaliation.
Fallen One of Flames.
Say again.
Fallen One of Flames.
Fallen One of Flames.
Yeah, what I can do this. You can tell me which one to pull up by. All right, there we go. That's the Fallen One of Flames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's pretty evil looking. Tell me about this band because I know nothing about them.
They're from up north, from the same city as Beherit.
Okay.
They started out as a black metal band and then turned into more Celtic Frost kind of things. But this first demo is really, really good. And the Beherit main man, Marko Holokausto, has made the intro and outro, and the Beherit drummer is playing on that demo. It's really fucking amazing. And there's no actually vocals on this demo. It's like whispering.
Oh, really? So creepy as fuck.
It's really creepy. Right? It's really creepy.
Now they have a couple albums out here. Last one was in 2018.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with the old Black Crucifixion. So that's more like Celtic Frost thing.
What else you want me to look up in here?
Coprophilia.
Oh God, how do I spell that? Coprophilia. Does that work? Will that work?
Coprophilia.
Hold on a sec here. Coprophilia. How do I not? Coprophilia. See if that brings it up here. Oh, coprophilia. Okay, let me see. Band. I've heard this name, and I've never checked them out. Here they are. Okay. So we'll do this, and we'll do this here. And are they still? They're not around anymore. I guess they just.
The vocalist killed himself, so they quit.
Oh shit!
That demo, that one, that's a fucking killer.
Now, what is this death metal or more black metal or kind
death
of
metal?
It's death. Okay.
It's more like death metal with demolish kind of vocals.
Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
and that's very groovy. That's very groovy too. So that is a great demo.
Now, do you still have all these, right? These original demos, Kim?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately. Dude, you could buy a house probably if you sold all of them, man. I mean, shit. Maybe not. I don't know what the housing market's like over there. But what else you got? Anything else?
Two more. You mentioned Mordicus.
Mordicus, yeah. Yeah, I don't have that one, so we'll pull that one
Now
up.
look out for the Grown Under Shade of Sorrow.
Okay. Grown under, yeah. Yeah, I heard this one's fucking killer.
That's something totally different from the debut album.
I heard it's kind of progressive in a weird way, like proggy, no?
And the vocals are fucking amazing.
Yeah. Like, are they like super deep? Or are they more screamy or
more into Demolish kind of things?
Oh, the Demolish thing. Okay.
That is that album, that demo has, I think it has those carcassy kind of low and high kind of kind of cool.
Okay. So you got the Jeff rasp, and then you got the Bill kind of growl down under.
This is and then one more. The one I mentioned before was Wings.
Wings, yeah. All right, Wings. Where is? I'm trying to find.
Thorns on Thy Oaken Throne.
Yeah, I like that fucking. That logo is pretty trippy. Which one? Thorns on Thy Oaken.
Thorns.
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah,
this is the best EP ever done in Finland.
Really?
Yep.
Only 8 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah, but this got the guitar player from Enochian Crescent, both guitar players, and the drummer from Nightwish nowadays. And guys from Rotten Sound were involved in this project back in the days.
And this came out in '93 on Adipocere. Yeah, Adipocere. I bet you these things go for a pretty penny, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's some good stuff there. We didn't mention two others here that I found in my pile because I had the Unholy 2, Marcus, because that you got to talk about that. I think it's just such a fucking, and actually this one's great too. It kind of shows the transformation from the demos stages to the.
Yeah,
I think that's Fart, right? Yeah, that's Fart. Two others we didn't mention, but one we got to mention because it's probably right there with that Depravity EP for me, and that's this one, man. I mean,
Demigod.
Good Lord, the fucking riffs.
Check out some really good band from Finland that really never got this appreciation. Decoria. Yeah.
Decoria. Okay. I'll have to find that one and see if I can figure out. Did they just do demos, or they have a full length, or what?
I think they made a couple of albums actually. But
okay. Yeah, I don't know how to spell that one at all. That's a new one on me. And I'm surprised nobody pulled this one up, but we got to kind of quickly mention it, right?
Convulse.
I mean,
Yeah, I know. Let me know when I can puke.
What's that? When you you don't like it? Okay. Just you can puke anytime. Just wait till I get my upside down cross. Hang on a minute. I gotta go get it off the wall.
The Convulse demo they did before the album. That's just amazingly brutal.
Yes. Yeah. I like World Without God, but I get why some purists may be like, fuck that shit's too groovy. But I kind of like it. I don't know.
And actually, we were talking the album from Pertinence, that's Member of Immortal Damnation. Just we tried to collectively remember.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Member of Immortal Damnation, the first one with the skeleton, the Chris Moyen artwork.
What's it called?
Member of Immortal.
Yeah, Member of Immortal Damnation. That's it.
It just came to. Came to me after mentioned Convulse because they're from the same town.
Oh, okay, all right. I love that fucking artwork, man. It's so killer. I bought the reissue for like $25. I was like, fuck it, I'm getting it, man. I gotta have this stuff. I'm that guy, I wish I wasn't that guy. I wish I was that guy that could stream everything and be okay with it, but I'm not okay with it. So I gotta own it. It's just one of those things. Real quick, do you guys know this this trio? Kilam Mikla? No. Kind of a cool Sisters of Mercy meets Alcestis. What's that?
Faggot shit.
Ah, Kim, I gotta beep you there, man. Beep. You didn't hear him say that. Ay. Can't take this guy anywhere. Guys, man, I want to thank you so much, Kim. I know I kept you a lot longer than you expected, but was it fun?
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. Definitely.
Can we? Oh, there's another band I gotta check out. Believe this or not, I've never, ever checked this band out, and I know you guys gotta know this band because every fucking guy I talk to from Finland talks about this band, and I've yet to check them out. Who do you think I'm talking about?
It depends.
Kingston Wall.
Yeah,
right.
I've never checked them out, and like Opu from Amorphous is like, dude, get on it now, and I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna check them out. So
actually, I have a funny story because you mentioned Blackwater Park. In the 90s, I was really into more straightforward kind of things like punk and thrash metal, death metal, black metal. But around Millennium, when all the Dimmu Borgirs and In Flames started to happen, and I think the scene lost something that made it vibrant and interesting.
right.
So actually, it was the metal records that made me a prog head because I found Kingston Wall through Amorphous.
Yeah.
Then kind of like Opeth opened me more into Camel and bands like that, and then of course, and then I kind of discovered, I really got into Yes and all those. But it's funny, it went vice versa for me because I discovered all those old prog albums through
After
the metal records
stuff.
I owned.
Yeah.
So
I was the other way because I was there when it was kind of happening.
Yeah.
But it's like Camel, Yes, Vandergraaf Generator. You know Vandergraaf, man?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
That shit's evil as fuck, man. Some of that stuff's more evil than any death metal you're gonna listen to. But
there are bits.
Yeah.
But
the only evil I know is Camel Toe.
I'll leave that one go. I think we can do that. I think we're all in agreement on that one. We're okay on that one. But any ladies watching, I apologize.
You should check out Kingston Wall. Definitely. They
Do they have a lot of albums out? Probably
three. Only three.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it because
they're not around anymore?
No, singer is not around anymore. He jumped from the church tower and committed a suicide.
Oh God. Wow, that's.
I have a big story about Kingston Wall vocalist.
Yeah.
He used to live as a neighbor to me in Töle in Helsinki, and I remember that day when he jumped from the tower. A friend of mine was doing LSD with him, and he thought he was an orange, so he jumped out from the balcony.
Oh, are you serious?
Yep.
Oh man, I've done a lot of substances in my life, but I've stayed way away from that stuff for that reason. That shit always scared the fuck out of me, man.
That story is one of those you would really like to quote from South Park, Drugs are bad, gay.
Well, guys, man, I cannot thank you enough for this. The book is Rotting Ways to Misery, The History of Finnish Death Metal. Guys, this is a fucking awesome book. I'm not just stroking
Thank you.
I'm not being gay.
We can promote at this point that the coming book is the Macabre Resurrection, Finland's Death Metal Vanguard. The second part.
Is that your working title?
Yeah. The working title.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Macabre Resurrection, Finland's Death Metal Vanguard.
Wow. Okay. What? Have you actually started it? Like, have you started the process, or are you still formulating ideas?
Actually, yes. The wheel is rolling. So
10 interviews today by this day.
Right.
The foreword is done. The graphical side is evolving.
Underthought of,
Getting there, right. Gonna go through the same publisher?
Yep.
Yes.
And
never dies.
There'll be a US version through Decibel or no?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I mean, I would assume I know Albert pretty well, and he's a fucking righteous guy.
Albert Mudrian. Oh, okay.
Albert Fish. Yeah, I know Albert Fish. He's been dead for a fucking 100 years. Of course I know Albert Fish. I'm old, Kim, but I ain't that fucking old, for Christ's sake. Yeah, man. So where's the best place to get this though? At like the pre-order now? Because I did see there was a September 25th pre-order date or something. Or am I dreaming that? On
everything goes through Cult Never Dies.
Yeah.
And is that Dial?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dial Patterson Company, publishing house.
Dial. Last 4, 6, no.
Yeah. I would love to get Dio on. Just throwing it out there. He probably doesn't like doing these kind of things, but I'd love to
if
get
you
him
have
on.
these old phones, back in the 80s.
Yeah,
you can dial him.
I remember him. I was there. I know. I had one of those fucking phones. And then crazily, believe it or not, we had those ones that would hang on the wall. You had to pull on the thing and it would go, and then it was really real. But and then we graduated to the ones where it went beep, 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 beep.
Sounds like my wife.
I'm not going there, man. I'm not going there. But this book is one I got to start, and it's a monster of a fucking book.
Check out the Metallian archive book.
Say again?
Metallian archive book.
Okay. That's on Cult?
Old Norwegian black metal thing.
Oh, cool. Then that'll be
better than the one you're holding in your hand.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Dio will love hearing that.
That's a good one.
Well,
but
I think
actually the Metallian book is also by Cult Never Dies release.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that Dial's book, Cult Never Dies, black metal evolution of the cult. That was for me. That was a benchmarking book for when we were making ours, because I wanted to be as informative, as Dial's book is, and
this is
in many ways.
This is the reissue with the extra chapters and
all that
stuff. So I got this back in April when I was down at the Decibel Fest, but I'm kind of scared about this one, man. It looks pretty intimidating. It looks like it's going to be, again, I cannot stress this. This is not a lie. I'm not kidding. I would get 2 or 3 pages through your book and be like, fuck, I got to go listen to that now. Like I couldn't just make a list and go, well, I'll listen to these later. I wanted to listen to them as I was reading the chapter I was in, because it seemed like if I didn't, my ADHD brain would melt. Like, I got to know now. I got to know, and that's a sign of a fucking killer book, guys. You guys knocked it out of the park, and I want to thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it very much. I really, Markus, it's been great getting to know you. I'd like us to continue. Maybe I'll have you on for something we do in the future. Kim, you're always welcome too, obviously. But when I do something like, I don't know, I do these shows where I'll just pull up like 10 favorite whatever on a desert island or something like that, like 10 favorite black metal bands or that kind of stuff. Black metal albums, I mean, something like that. So I'll keep you guys in mind, and you'll be like, oh no, not that guy again. Fuck that guy, man. we don't have anything to do with that guy. Holy fuck. Anything you want to throw out there real quick? Markus, you have a band, the Ghoulstars?
Well, there's a punk band I'm playing at the moment, and then we're working our way through to the release the first album. So if you're into Turbo Necro Misfits kind of a thing, you might like that. Definitely.
Well, and is that the Ghoulstars or someone else?
The Ghoulstars, yeah.
Okay. And you guys play live, regular, semi-regular? Yeah.
We've been like a house Halloween band in a bar Kuopio for like 3 years, even though we don't have an album out yet. But they booked us in like 3 years ago for the first time, and then they kind of like the image and the cobwebs everywhere, and
nice.
We just play old school horror punk. So
it's very misfit-y, like you said. It's very misfit.
Yeah. If you like Misfits, you like Ghoulstars. That's how it goes.
Kim, what do you got going on? Because when I look at your Metal page, there's 15,000 bands there. What do you got happening?
Yeah, actually, I dropped every fucking band I used to play in.
You just
before I turned 50.
You were like, that's it, I'm out?
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, totally. I can do feature things. I do a lot of lyrics to a lot of bands. And there's an international black metal band which has been away from the scene for 25 years.
Okay.
I wrote the whole album for them, lyric-wise.
Oh, nice.
And probably next year they're gonna release it.
Can you say who, or you can't say
No,
it?
I can't. No, I cannot.
Okay, I got you.
But I do a lot of lyrics because I don't want to be standing in blood and fire and shit when I'm this old anymore. I give that room to and space to.
I know exactly.
guys.
I know exactly how you feel. I went to see Nile and Cryptopsy on Friday night, and they're buds, and I ended up backstage and hanging out, drinking way too many beers, and I'm like, yesterday was a wash. The whole day was fucked. I couldn't barely get out of bed.
Then you have a fucking 3-4 day hangover.
Yeah, so, and I'm pretty good today, but man, I was soft as fuck yesterday. I was like, man, I ain't doing nothing. I'm not even getting out of bed. Like, give me a piss bottle. I don't even want to get up to piss, you know. But well, guys, man, super awesome. Thank you so much. Anything else we want to plug? Go to Cult Never Dies for Rotting Ways to Misery, and there is a second book.
That's about it.
Second
book is coming, but you know these things take time, and we don't want to rush anything half-arsed. So it'll be out when it'll be out, but the second book is coming definitely.
And the second book is coming faster than the first one because it took like 4 years to get the first one done. But I could even say that 2 years and it's out.
I'm glad you said that because I neglected to ask you how long it took, but I took from it that this was a process. It was a pretty long process.
Yeah.
And
we have learned from the previous one that how not to do things.
Yeah.
There was one little piece. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and also because the things that we were discussing of in the book did happen 30 years ago. So some of the things were harder to, discover in a sense. So the second book is going to be like from millennium to this day.
Okay.
And of course, things are going to be more modern and they happen, in a timeline. So
and easier and faster because of the WhatsApp and Teams and internet. But these old guys from the 80s, they have you can only interview me when you come to my place.
Yeah. Or I will answer your email questions and it'll take 14 hours or it'll take 14 days or whatever.
Let me get my glasses, man.
Well, yeah, man, that's no shit. That's a real deal right there. Let me read one thing and I want you to comment on. We're going to wrap. This is on page 257. This is from Antti Bowman. In the early 90s, everything was painfully and wonderfully slow, he explains. To hear new underground music, you had to really take some effort, spend time to find it. It was beyond belief when you finally got a hold of some scabby, tens of times copied tape from your favorite band. None of the small imperfections mattered, as all you wanted to hear were the great tunes. Nowadays, you can hear everything from various channels of delivery without any control whatsoever. Marketing is the key thing. Marketing tries to make mediocre music interesting to the masses, and metal has become mainstream entertainment. Man, that hit me like fucking hard because I'm like, dude, the internet is great. It's also fucking mega destructive now, as we can see, right? Any thoughts on that? Like just your final closing thoughts on what I just said there? Because nowadays, you guys know this, the struggle was real, man. You had to hear it from somebody or find it by running into it from a zine or from a tape trade like you guys. Now it's all there with a push of a button. It's on YouTube. It's on the internet. It's immediate. And fucking albums that aren't even coming out for 6 months, they're teasing you with AI videos and pre-orders.
Yeah.
It's.
I have a point on this one.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man.
Well, no, but we are. I get it. But don't say like the racial stuff or anything. Okay.
But the 80s were better.
The 80s were better, man. I totally agree. We do sound like old men, but it was just like.
But I think if you want to listen to like Five Finger Death Punch and these kind of bands, they have nothing to do with metal, in my opinion.
I agree.
But the underground scene it's still live and kicking, but those guys who are playing like in Polish underground death black metal bands, they don't have any social media pages, or you just have to find them via your fucking contacts or a good friend. And I know that guy from that neighborhood who knows that guy.
Well, I'll give you a good example. I'd heard the name Mortuary Drape, but I'd never seen them, and they were the final band that played last year's MDF 25.
Yeah.
I was fucking toast by that time, man. I'd partied for 4 straight days. My old man legs were saying, fuck you, go get off your ass, for, lay down for 2 straight days. But I really wanted to see what that band was all about. And I fucking loved them, and I went out and bought every goddamn thing that I could find from them.
You should check out Mortuary Drape. They have 3 really, really good albums.
13.
All the Witches Dance is a fucking brilliant album.
Witches Dance is killer.
And also the Secret Sudaria.
Secret Sudaria. That's amazing, man. I didn't get the originals. I got the represses from Nuclear War. But Markus, how about you? What's your thought on that? We'll wrap.
Oh, well, that says it really much, because because everything is so accessible. It also makes music pretty short-lived.
Product.
Yeah, the lifespan of an album is okay. There's a new album out. You stream it, listen it once, maybe twice, and then it's yesterday's news.
Yeah, which sucks.
Which definitely sucks for the artist. For example, if you think about it, back in the day when you like did a postal order of a record, and then you waited for some time to arrive to your local post office. You went to pick it up, or in my case, as I live in an armpit of the world, I still do. I had to take a bus to town, and then I was sitting on the bus after all the money I had saved. I had put on a record store, and then I would sit in the bus on my way back home, just like reading lyrics, checking out the thanks. Okay, which bands they are thanking?
Yeah.
And,
I gotta check them out now, right? Yeah. What band shirts they were wearing on the fucking back of the album?
On the photos. Right? Yeah. And then you went back home and listened that album you had used all your money in. You had to listen it at least 70 times, because it's just like invested a huge deal.
You had money invested and time invested. Now there's no investment. Yeah.
Now you just stream the album. Yeah, if the band is lucky, the guys stream it completely, or just like 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah.
But the whole thing has made the lifespan of music
throwaway.
Yeah, it's not good for anybody.
Yeah, it's not. Do you guys like Evoken?
Definitely,
dude. Yes. The new Evoken, fucking slamming, man. Oh my god, wait. It's so good. Yeah,
can't wait.
And we should mention too the new Hooded Menace, which comes out, which you played in those guys.
I have heard it.
He does it. I don't know how he does it, but man, that guy just writes fucking killer riffs. Yeah, it's a little more heavy metal, but I love it, man. It's so good. Yeah, what a genius.
The new album is actually doomier than the couple of albums before it. So the new one's gonna be great.
So we're here. Sorry about that. Guys, I'm going to end it here because I've kept you for 2 hours and you hate me, I know. But Kim, sir, I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Same here.
It was very fun. Now I got to go edit out all the stuff you said. No, I'm just kidding. No, I really appreciate your time, guys, and always reach out. Markus, let's stay in contact, please. And put Kim in contact with you too. Maybe we'll do something in the future, and I won't keep you as long. But and definitely when the new book comes out, whenever that is, you'll keep me abreast of what's going on. 3. Well, that's a little. You said 2 years a minute ago. he just ramped it up a little bit there, Markus. The expectation level. Holy fuck.
Okay, I better start, putting the writing together then.
Yeah, forget your flu and post-fest malaise right now. You got to get on this now. But you guys hang out 1 second for me, okay? Thanks everybody that was watching. Oh, by the way, tomorrow at 2:00, I've got Morris Kolentierski coming on from Blood Incantations, Spectral Voice, Naturgeist, and he's got a solo album coming out. It's kind of an ambient guitar thing. So I'm going to talk to him tomorrow at 2 p.m. That's what's coming up next. So again, thanks everybody that was here. You got a lot of albums to go check out for these guys. These guys know their shit big time. And